Namaste, everybody. Namaste. Reverend Sharon Elizabeth here, also known as Baba Sharone. And we are here with some beautiful light workers right here present inside the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light. And of course, we all also do our Zoom, which we'll be doing both. So this is the new normal because now we reach everybody globally and still and yet want to have for those who are local that we have the camaraderie of seeing each other too. So it's all interconnected, which is all good. And also, we have the opportunity to speak a little bit to our Facebook Live, people from all around the world. So what happens is that there's some people that see us live and expect for us to be live around this time on Mondays. We have passed our 14th year of anchoring light meditations every Monday since July 16, 2007. Every Monday, we've had an anchoring light. In the most amazing circumstances, it always turns out that we are able to have it. And for those times, those very few times that I have not been here physically present, we have played an anchoring light, the same energetic. And we also do have this on our YouTube channel. We have most of them on our YouTube channel. The energies are imprinted and it's the same. But 14 years now going into our 15th year. And I thought year 5 that this might have been ending at some point. Year 5, they said, oh no, you don't know. There's a lot going to be coming down the pike, so you got to hang in there. But they're keeping me strong, they're keeping me healthy. So, hey, it's all good. How blessed are we? Is it worth to walk this path? You better believe it is, because we're so blessed beyond measure. We have this knowledge, which is priceless. As you walk on your spiritual path, you know to grab onto the centropy. And that centropy is what's going to pull your energy more up as opposed to the entropy that wants to pull your energy down. So it's almost like hooking onto a star, okay, and having that star pull you up as opposed to the energetics of the earth and the guidelines of that would want to pull you down. Although we love the earth, and that's the reason why we're here. So there's a couple of different dynamics that are involved in this. So welcome our Facebook family of light, and welcome to all of those that are coming on board on Zoom, and welcome to those that are here in the physical here right now. So before I get started in a little a little blog that I want to talk about, let me just say to anybody, which a lot of times people are going to see this like after it's over, but please know that you are invited. This open to the public for you to participate in these anchoring light meditations. It's really not so much a meditation than it is a transmission. We work with the higher realms of light, and it accelerates you on your spiritual path, you can say, as well as the fact that it assists you on your own personal spiritual journey. And we work together as a divine collective. We are the Ami Shaddai, the family of light, which corresponds to the family of light on the higher realms. Those of you familiar with the spiritual hierarchy, we are the spiritual hierarchy. We are the boots on the ground. And I can't even begin to tell you how much, there's so many different levels of consciousness that applaud that we come into these physical bodies, but yet we are in the world, but we are not of it. Because there's some part of us that remembers, like, we have come from someplace else. And I have a sense of mission. I'm supposed to do something. So many of us can exchange, have that conversation, whether we could put it into words or not. So for anybody who would like to be part of this anchoring light transmission meditation, you are invited. When we actually do the meditation, we no longer broadcast on Facebook. You would be required to participate either locally here in Sarasota, Florida, or to go on Zoom. And it's very simple. Once you register, you get a reminder every week that we are having this meditation. So that's 6:45 to about 7:05. We have our little chat. And as we've always traditionally have done, so we keep that tradition going. And then after that, we would go into the transmission and the meditation. So I wanted to talk, I guess I'm going to talk about two subjects really quick, really fast, because the one I was speaking of was going to be mammon, and please remind me, everybody, I want to speak about mammon. And I also want to talk about centropy. Those are my two subjects, real quick. So, the reason I'm talking about mammon is I have to share a news article that came out that some people might have seen locally here. But the news article was actually was put out by a sheriff's department. But the short of it all is that there was a gentleman who was driving, and got into a seizure. I don't know if you guys heard of this, got into a seizure. And so there was a landscaper that was there. He's seeing the guy that something is wrong, and the car is just kind of rolling. So he runs, and finally the car goes into a lawn, like in front of a house by a lawn. And so he's here trying to help the guy. The owners of the house yell at him and say to him, they say, um, get off the lawn, let him die someplace else. That was the quote. This is a person who has, I guess, a very nice home and a beautiful lawn, and the level of not having humanity was concerned about the lawn more than the person, and yelling at the Good Samaritan trying to help the person. So somebody could say, oh my gosh, how could anybody do this? What is this? And this is where mammon comes in. And in the Bible, it talks about mammon. And mammon is an energetic. It's connected with money, and it's not money in itself is bad, but the love of money. We need money. We need an energetic exchange, of course. And, our goal is to be as comfortable as we can. Okay. But in a world that has the energetic exchange with currency, which is money. Okay. But when that flips, and it's just like there's these things that can flip you. Love can turn to lust. Okay, giving can turn into a hoarding. It can flip on the other duality, which is why we always have to keep ourselves in center, and not be drawn. Okay, what I call the lower animal body, or that other part of us that will want to pull us down. It requires spiritual discipline, and whatever that is, praying or chanting, or just being good to people, or whichever that is for you, to keep us on this higher frequency so we don't fall into this. So mammon has to do where people now become obsessed with money, making money, having more money, is very close to greed, which means that you can't ever get enough. You have, and you want to get more, and you want to get more, and you want. That's a greed energy. Mammon, on the other hand, is more of the love of money. The I have to look a certain way. It's keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. I have to have the best and the highest and the this. Nothing's wrong with that, unless okay, you're damaging another life form in that process. So I just thought to mention this. And so what can you do? I know most of us that, of course, listening to this is appalled, but I can assure you there are people who absolutely live on that because they have become extremely disconnected. That part of themselves, the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love, has been closed. Okay, so you say, well, what can we do? Well, we could do a lot. Okay, as light workers, okay, we can hold that higher light and the compassionate heart, okay, for humanity, For those that have forgotten, for those who have shut down their heart, and there are many who have shut the heart down. Now, that spark is still in there. It is still moving, but it's been covered up, you could say, with all the distractions of a physical, mental, and emotional world. So that's just like, for example, if somebody gets down or depressed or they're not feeling well, okay? They don't really feel that up and energetic and bring themselves up. That's where friends and family come in and say, hey, we support you. We're going to lift you up until you can lift yourself up. Well, that's what we're all being called to do as a community of light workers, that those of us that are consciously aware of the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love. It's not just for us, but we are here to give it out to the world. So what do we do to that gentleman or that lady? I don't know who it is that said it, but the people who thought that their lawn was more important than saving a human being, we have to send them love. We have to send them lots of love. We have to see that, the Lewa Shekinah, the pillar of light, whichever way you do it, and send that love. And that's why we have to be the example, if you will, okay, by our own actions as much as we can, and we move along our path of mastery. We're able to hold that divine peace. We're able to hold that energy of unconditional love. Okay, we're not just holding it for ourselves, we're holding it for the planet, because guess what? We're all connected, and it goes into the collective unconscious. So, as many people that can do this, that wake up, that dare to be their authentic selves, dare to walk on their spiritual path, doesn't matter what anyone else is doing, or if they understand you, that doesn't matter either. What matters is that you understand you and you walk your authentic path. And when you do, you become brave and courageous. And next thing you know, people are like, what are you doing and how can I do it? We're walking, talking examples. And that's, for example, what Jesus Christ said, be a light to the world. Okay, so that's one of the things that we can do. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about real quickly was centropy. And that just came up real quick. Well, just like, the mammon situation or greed or whatever, that is an energy that's entropic. In other words, it's an energy that brings you down and down and down, because you find, for example, with greed or whatever, that people, you figure they're the happiest people in the world, and come to find out when you open, the curtains, and see that they're very unhappy, very, very, now not all, but many are. And you hear about people committing suicide and like, oh my gosh, they had everything. You don't know that, because if you're not being true to your authentic self, if you're not bringing in this higher energy, it's not going to give you that peace, that joy, that happiness that we all seek. And so the centropy, okay, is really, as I used an example earlier, it's like sort of hitching um, onto a star, if you will. And because the gravitational pull of the earth, and we are in a material world, it can get kind of heavy. And so that's the part that kind of pulls you down, kind of pulls you down. You got to work, you got to eat, go to sleep, the routine, this and that, da 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 da. I'm busy, I have kids, I have da 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 da. I'm tired, I'm getting older, I have to go to the doctor, da 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 da, right? And it's like automatic. Oh, well, you age, just the way it is, aches and pains, da, 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 that's the way it is. That's the program. That's the program. That is the earthly program. But I'm here to tell you, there's a spiritual program. Yes, there is. That's my Brooklyn. There's a spiritual program. And the spiritual program is saying yes. I mean, we are eternal beings, but that doesn't mean it's going to be in this little body wrap that we're in at the moment. But we can hold on to this little body wrap and improve it over time, which is like, as you get older, you get better. Yeah. And I have a dear friend, Clark, okay, that we're looking to tell his story, okay, to tell his story, which would be inspirational for people. I've known Clark going 9 years now. Clark had a stroke. I remember Clark. Clark sets up this entire, you can't see it, but it takes up this entire space. He moves like 5 chairs at a time, and they're heavy. He does this. I remember when he could not do that. Okay, you should see his face. It glows. And so he is at some point, and will announce it, is going to give his story, because his story is going to be an inspiration for others, because he tapped into that centropy. He said, I'm going on this journey to get better, to know how to explore, to make known the unknown. And in that journey is come to the other side of this. Many times people who, are challenged with the health, that they don't feel well, whatever it is, okay, they fall into, fear or complacency with that, because it does take effort to hatch or hold on to the centropy. It absolutely does take effort, okay? It does. So, but each time you move and you get like a certain platform or octave, you feel better. And even if you fall back down, you go back again. And next thing you know, you get better, you get stronger. You have, and that's the centropy. And that's what we want to do, is put your spiritual path as a path towards the centropy, that you don't fall into the entropy of the energetics that are here to pull you down. Instead, you tap into the higher parts of yourself that's going to pull you up. So the truth is, for many light workers, as you get older, you get better. Which is the reverse from how an earthly perspective or equation may be. So, is it worth being on the path? Absolutely, 100%. So, with that, I'm going to close for our Facebook Family of Light. We will see you next week. And Baba Sharone here. See you next time. God bless.